Who would think it would be fun to listen to two musicians chatting on a Monday morning at 8 a.m.? Who knows? We'll see. This is Jamie Thompson, flutist. I'm Frank Horvat, composer, pianist, and we're talking about the release of my new album today, Me to We. So please.
The first of 4 albums.
First of 4 albums being released this week. This is a little bit of a crazy thing. So when we went into this endeavor and the stars aligned right for us to make 4 albums at the same time and release them at the same time, I was really motivated by the fact that they were going to all be really different. Now, for those of you who don't know Jamie, Jamie is a flutist. He is a founding member of the Junction Trio. He is a photographer. He is the artistic director of the Urban Flute Project, and he is on the faculty at the Royal Conservatory of Music. Today, Me to We comes out, and it's cool. You are the first Facebook Live guest because you appear and you musically contribute to the very first track on the very first album.
And
he is the
photo
first
on the cover.
So it's all just the karma and the symbolism here is great.
And
so,
I have to say, I'm loving the collaboration.
Me to We is all about like a neo-romantic sensibility. Tell me about Me. When you listen now to the recording, what's your thoughts about the piece?
Blown away by it because it's so restrained. It's so different from anything else that I've played. It's trying to figure it out, what makes it so distinctive. But in describing it and getting feedback from people, like there's something, a vulnerability about it. There's something so restrained and spare about it. I mean, it's still melodic and it's very listenable, but it's really playing off silence in a very special way.
So I thought if I'm going to make this program, I need to have a first piece which explores the solitary figure.
It's very searching.
Yeah,
it's a refreshing piece. It is super challenging. Okay, because
in what way?
Well, it is so understated and restrained. Yeah. I mean, so it's the subtlety. As a musician, you're really challenged. You know, how does vibrato? What role does vibrato play? I mean, if you just vibrato throughout the whole thing, it would totally change the piece. Like it would blanket the expression. Like as one example, that it needs that kind of attention, even like from bar to bar.
Right.
You know.
We did talk a lot about that, right? Like, what's this phrase going to be? Yeah. What's this like? How what? Like really, I remember us being
it's a fragmentary piece.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
but there is an overarching flow to it.
Right. You know, like I feel like now as you get older, you don't feel like, oh, I gotta ram a whole bunch of notes in here.
You know,
and I've been listening too much. I think to too much Arvo Pärt lately. Or Eric Whitacre,
if I read Dickens,
or Max Richter or something.
I start writing emails in the style of Dickens.
It's
weird. You know.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Like, well, that's natural. Now, let's talk about Whistleblower. That's track number 2 on the current agenda. That album comes out tomorrow. Much more experimental. All the chamber compositions are based on social justice issues.
Whistleblower. And that album is intense.
Yeah.
It's intense. Incendiary. I mean, and so the album itself, by extension, consistent with what I was just describing, it goes from demonstrative and you know, in your face, and it's activism music. The pieces writing over here, the penny drop, they're polar opposite. Me, the flute and piano piece that we're that's launching today, and Me to We, and Whistleblower are just like, they couldn't be more opposite. I love the piece. It's really,
Yeah.
it's just streaming. It's like streaming information, like digital information.
You know, when I listened to it
into sound, that was an original image that came up to me, or like when we first started working on it. Timbres of the instruments.
That is
marimba,
way different.
Electric piano, cello, and flute.
Yeah.
Yeah, the instrumentation is really
it's a funny
gorgeous.
Piece. It's so funny. You and the marimba were connected at the hip, and I remember when we recorded that, it was very difficult. We recorded that in chunks and like a jigsaw puzzle.
It's like going to the gym, Frank.
I felt so bad for you. You earned your money that day, Jamie. That was of that album, of the 6 pieces on that album, that was the most intense recording session in the craft of recording.
It was.
Because of the fact that it was like every note had to be bang on. A lot of people know you as a flutist and member of the music community here in Toronto, but how about your life as a photographer? Because, I mean, you contributed 2 freaking amazing pictures to the 2 album covers. But anybody who follows who's connected with you on Facebook or whatever, notices the absolutely amazing encapsulation of our city that you take through your lens. It's absolutely fascinating.
It's a little obsessive at times. Thank you.
So talk about your life as a photographer. What moves you? What motivates you with that?
Oh wow. Well, I'm intuitive in my approach, so it's a tough question to answer. But I'm out on my bike all the time, and I've always had a quick eye for detail.
Photographers are like that.
It's about variety. It's sort of like what you were saying. Like I get very restless, just watching the street light or something.
Right.
I'm always.
That's a great thing about a photographer. A photographer has the ability to see. Great photographers have the ability to see something that other people are not seeing. Like they're not noticing in our everyday life. And then what you allow us to do is to see back right away. Like I see those albums, like covers, and I look at, and Me to We, the album cover for Me to We is just breathtaking. The icicles on glass and stuff. But
there's something chilly but hopeful about it.
But You Haven't Been it's a hole in the wall. You photographed a hole in the wall. And for me it's like there's something so poignant and heart-wrenching about that. Especially for that album, because that's a solo piano album that has to do with my battle with depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
And that hole in the wall is basically completely about what it feels like to capture that. Now, but anybody who would have been walking through where you took that picture would say, oh, there's some renovation, or this is a dilapidated place.
Right.
Yeah, there's a hole in the wall. But we do it in that context, and it's like, holy moly, this is really...
If I could pick up on the one thing that you said about a photographer is in that unique position to, paraphrasing, finding beauty where others might just pass by. Is that more or less what you said?
Yeah,
but that's part of my challenge in answering your question, because I don't think that that's exclusive to photography, or photographers. I think maybe that's part of the creative process. Could I make that leap?
Want to flash?
Okay. Oh, whoa!
This is
family viewing.
This is $5 because that's how much I gave him to talk so much about the album.
Way more than that. Okay. And then this one, no, not this one. Sorry, I was looking backwards. This is the hole in the wall. This is a house that's under development. 3 houses that are next to each other, Kiel and Bloor, if you're driving by there.
Okay.
And they're going through.
Is the hole still there?
It's being repurposed.
Okay.
No, they probably gutted it, but they're keeping the shells of the 3 buildings. And then when you open this, this is not my photograph, but it's something I might have seen in Buffalo.
That's not your. No. Actually, that's a very serious photo. The inside of the thing is the former concert hall in Chernobyl. So that's what you're looking at here, Jamie. Is that
seriously?
Yeah. So that's basically the.
But you can't play that piano, though.
I would not play that piano. Yeah. No, and that's of course a really sad thing. But listen, thank you so much for doing this.